And if you haven't been to a Barrett-Jackson, you really should go. We've got them across the country. There's one in West Palm actually coming up in just a few weeks. So if you guys are a local and you get a chance to head out to Barrett-Jackson, that's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, and if you've never been, it is a fun show to go to because besides the cars, you always got the food vendors. Anything on a stick, is good for me. And, there's cold drinks there. And it's a great time. It's a good family event, in fact.
It really is. I mean, it's essentially an auction, but it's really a car show. Because even if you don't have a ticket to get inside, if you don't have a bidder's pass, you get a chance to head out to Barrett-Jackson. That's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, and if you've never been, it is a fun show to go to because
Yancey,
besides the cars,
our DJ over
always
here.
got
Yancey,
the
give the
food
crowd a
vendors,
wave.
anything on a stick, is
Acknowledge
good
yourself, Yancey. Come on, there he is.
Cold drinks there, and it's a great time. It's a good family event.
Got
more talent in his pinky than
it
most
really is.
people
I mean,
I've ever
it's
met in my life.
essentially, essentially, it's a car show because you can just go and check out all these cars that are in primo shape and fantasize a little bit, say, oh, what if, because they're all for sale and most of them are with no reserve.
Yeah.
So somebody is going to be going home with their dream car for every car that you see.
And there's cars in all ranges of budgets. It's not just the high dollar cars. But what is amazing to see is just how much money the muscle cars are going for nowadays. I mean, just to the ceiling.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a lull, I think, in the hobby about 5 or 6 years ago. That was parallel to the economy going down, but it's starting to come back now, and the hobby really is becoming a lot stronger. You can see that from the prices of the cars that just went across at Barrett-Jackson in January. But you're right, there are value buys out there too. A lot of these cars go across, and they really surprised me that they didn't get more. Last year in Vegas, there was a completely unrestored 67 Cornet, I believe it was. Beautiful car, like kind of champagne pink. When I say completely unrestored, I mean like original paint, original interior, had all of the documentation down to the little paper tag that the original key came on. It was the most well-documented car I've ever seen. It went for $12,000.
That's nothing for a car like that.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Wow, that was a steal. Same thing. I saw, because I'm a kind of a truck guy, I saw a SEMA build truck. So the vendors had put everything you could buy to bolt on a truck, lifted, roll bar, the grill, everything, and it went for like $9,000. And there was probably $30,000 in bolt-on accessories. So someone got a steal of a deal on something like that. Well, this is your second year here at Detail Fest.
That's right.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, it's a real pleasure to have Chris Jacobs here.
Appreciate it.
And you have a lot of fans out there in the TV world because of overhauling.
Thank you.
And the cool thing is all my local car buddies and everybody that comes to Detail Fest, now they get a chance to meet you. And of course, you're going to be down here at the autograph booth today and tomorrow.
Yep.
So a chance to sign autographs, and ask Chris any question that you might have about, the things he's up to. I'm sure you get a lot of the same questions like, what's your favorite car?
Yep.
What's your first car?
Yep.
That kind of thing.
Absolutely. And my answer is always the same for what's my favorite car. It's a black on black 1970 AAR Cuda 4-speed. I would love to have one of those. In fact, I had a chance to buy one, not a black one, but a white one about 10 years ago, and, it was only about $27,000, and I wish I had jumped on it. True J-code car, 4-speed with the pistol grip. That car now is probably going to be triple that. So, it's... If you think you're getting a bargain, some scratching at the back of your head going, hey, you should buy this, maybe you should. I wish I had back then.
Yeah, and cars like that, a long time ago, one of my neighbors who was a car collector, he told me, Mike, you never pay too much. Sometimes you just pay too soon. So if it's the right car, it will eventually catch up to what you paid for it.
And you know what every car is worth.
Oh, exactly.
What someone will pay for it.
That's right. Yeah, my brother-in-law who's roaming around here today, I asked him what his favorite car is, and he always says the next one. He likes to buy and sell and flip.
Well, that's what Chip always says when people say, what's been your favorite build on overhauling? His stock response is the next one.
Yeah. I ran into Chip out in California, and I think a lot of times when people think of someone like yourself or Chip, and they think they're going to see him out in public, they'd be driving some cool straight rod, And he was just driving around. I think it was a Ford 150.
That's right. He actually just got a new truck. He finally drove that old 140 into the ground. Chip likes to drive. So yeah, he got a new truck. I think this one is silver. But yeah, He likes the trucks because, they're very utilitarian. In fact, it's a great place to take a nap, according to Chip. You know, if you can't find Chip around the shop, just go check the bed of his pickup truck. There's a good chance he might be catching some Z's back there.
So before we have to wrap up this interview, moving forward, when overhaul is played so often on Velocity, just in repeats, I mean, I have it in my office going on all the time, and I always come across builds that I think I've seen them all, but I haven't. And that's what I like about overhauling is how many episodes did you guys actually shoot all together?
I think the final count was 111.
Oh, my gosh.
And we did, I think, 3 or 4 double haul-ins, and there were 2 or 3 specials. So I think there's around 112 or 113 overhauled vehicles out there in the world.
And that's a pedigree that, if your car was overhauled, no matter what it might be worth in its own range for that type of make and model, the fact that it was on your show is like a pedigree that just bumped the price up even higher.
It's got that intangible of being on overhauling and having, Chip Foose's design on there, and you've got a permanent video record of the build of your car. So yeah, it's pretty special to have an overhauling car.
I agree, and I'm like a lot of you guys. I was thinking, I got to get a hold of Chip, get my truck over there, let him warm it over, give it the Chip Foose touch, and never happened.
Yeah,
so
I'm fortunate enough to have a semi-overhauled car. Chip and I painted my '68 GTX together, so it's got his signature Foose two-tone faded towards the bottom paint job on it, as well as his wheels, and I called in a lot of favors from the industry to get the exhaust done and the brakes done and the interior done. So that's my semi-overhauled car.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we got 10 more minutes here. 5? Yancey's the best. How about a big clock over there? Well, one thing is we still are hoping just for some good weather today. And what time are you going to be at the autograph booth? Do you know your schedule?
I want to say that it is 11 today at the autograph booth, and then 12:30 I'm doing something else too. And then I'll be signing tomorrow morning as well. So if you can't catch me today, catch me tomorrow. But, I'll be walking around the show too, so I'm not real shy about talking to people. So if you see me, just say, hey, grab my elbow, and we can have a chat about cars.
Yeah, so remember his time, because every time I've seen Chris, his lines are really long. So just be aware of the time he's going to be over there, so you can get over there and get his autograph for your garage or for your man cave.
Or both.
Or both.
My garage is my man cave.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, no doubt. Hey, well, tell you what, everybody, thank you for coming to Detail Fest. Thank you, Chris, for your second year here.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it.
And again, Chris will be over at the autograph booth. How about a big round of applause for Chris?
Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Chris.